there.
Hey guys,
Almost there.
welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 24th of November.
Want to just hit, this is our UK Euro news, so I want to hit a few more headlines so countries don't all feel left out. Over 800 migrants set sail for Italy in 1 week as numbers rise. In the past week, around 800 migrants have attempted to reach Italy from North Africa as migrant transport NGO activity has resumed the flow of migrants in the Mediterranean. The NGO ships account for facilitating 367 of the 800, many of whom were intercepted by Coast Guards. The France-based NGO SOS the Mediterranean in its ship, the Ocean Viking, currently has 215 members aboard her. Another NGO, the Spanish-based Open Arms, also picked up 73 migrants from the Libyan coast this week, along with the Aita Maria, which retrieved 79 migrants. Tanzania has also become a hotspot for migrants to head to Europe. The Coast Guard on the island of Durba collected 43 migrants who were on board a boat around 10 miles from the island. The vessel began its voyage from the commune of Homet Esuk, but authorities quickly identified and intercepted it. The Tanzanian authorities noted that none of the migrants on the boat were actually from Tanzania. Go figure. Over half of the migrants came from Ethiopia, and the rest originated in Eritrea and Somalia. Following the exit of anti-mass migration from former Interior Minister Matteo Salvini and the Lega League from the government in Italy, activity in the Mediterranean has dramatically increased, like we had seen. But as part of this huge increase in I'm going to get my little Salvini article up here, because there's a huge increase in migrants that Salvini had shut down. They, you're not coming in and we're sending you back, right? So now he's out, but Salvini now dominates the poll as ruling leftist coalition at just 34.5%. So Matteo Salvini's Lega party continues to dominate Italy's polls, while the ruling leftist coalition has the support of just a third of the electorate.
Wow.
The new poll puts Salvini and the Lega at 34%, making them the would-be largest and only half a percentage point behind the combined support of the Five Star Movement and the Democrat Party, which form the current ruling coalition. The way things work, whoever is at the top can add to theirs to make their majority bigger, but it's the top. So his election held today, Salvini rules Italy.
I love it.
Okay, so he stays strong. He has to stay relevant. He has to stay speaking, because the next election that happens, whether it's a year from now or 2 years from now or next week, well, maybe not next week, but you know what I mean. The numbers also indicate a majority of government could be formed by the center-right coalition of the Leg, the National Conservative Brothers of Italy, and the former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi's Forza Italy, which would take 49.9% of the vote. The positive numbers for Salvini continue despite ongoing attacks against the former interior minister by far less activists and even members of the Roman Catholic clergy. Said that Father Alex Zanotelli, who said this week that Salvini should be put on trial for his inhumanity.
Well, that's what they try to do with everything. Like when they can't beat somebody with democracy, they just go after just like these weird, nefarious, crazy. It's happening to Donald Trump.
Yeah, the current Italian church leader here is referring to Salvini's previous policy of closing Italy's borders to migrant transport NGOs. And the priest labels Salvini a robot who does not feel pain for others, especially those who suffer. He actually feels pain for his own countrymen. People being raped, robbed, stolen from, have to put migrants in people's homes. He really does feel for people, and he feels for the migrants who are losing their lives on their way over. So good news here, but pray, because if there is a bastion of demonic activity, it is in the Vatican. And I don't say that lightly.
So when you talk about Salvini and you talk about these elections, and somebody had left a comment that Salvini would be back bigger than ever.
Yes.
Streaky Bacon. The reason why he's so strong is because at this point, I think that the Italians don't even really care about the policies, because they're going to be socialist. Salvini is a socialist. That's not going to change. It's not really conservative. It's not the way we understand politics. Let me put it to you that way. So if you're an Italian,
Right.
and you see what's happening to your country,
Right.
you see it with your own eyes. There's nothing, the left can only lie so far.
Right.
All right. When you're living in California and you see all the homeless on the streets, they can't lie their way out of that.
Right.
I don't like it. I don't like that people are pooping on my streets. I'm going to vote that out.
Right.
So when it comes to the Italians, the reason why Matteo Salvini is getting bigger and bigger is because these Italians saw that under Salvini, these migrants weren't coming over. Okay. And then now they're coming back and they don't like them there. And it boils down to like that simple.
So Italy is going to deport an imam who beat children at a religious school. That's something else that they are seeing. A 23-year-old Bangladeshi imam faces deportation from Italy after investigators confirmed he had physically assaulted young children at a religious school. The migrant who lived in Italy on a work visa is said to have created what investigators describe as a climate of terror at a Quranic school in Padua, and engaged in humiliating young pupils and physically assaulting them, sometimes with a stick. The beatings of the children, who were aged 5 and 10 years old, took place at Bangladesh Cultural Center in the Archela district of Padua. Investigators noted that the 23-year-old would engage in physical violence against the children for as little as a wrong answer or catching them being distracted. So agents of the General Investigations and Special Operations Division, which investigated the case, also found photographs and posts of Nazi leader Adolf Hitler and proposed that he may have been teaching young children anti-Semitic ideas.
Wow.
Italy has deported several radical imams in recent years. So there's people there from all over the world, and you know, Salvini cares. He cares for these children, and that's
yeah. That should be his campaign slogan. Salvini cares.
That's true. Oh, next door neighbor, Greece, Prime Minister Mitsotakis, I love the Takis, says Greece will shut the door to illegal immigration. Greece's Prime Minister has announced that his government will deploy over 1,000 more border guards, upgraded sea patrols, and institute more restrictive holding centers for migrants, as he said his country will shut the door to illegals. Prime Minister Mitsotakis,
maybe it's like Takis.
It's Takis, because you know it's
Takis?
Like,
Okay.
that's an
Yeah, I
ending
guess you're
for
right.
a lot
Yeah.
of Greek names. Who has a center-right government elected in July, we talked about this, told Parliament on Friday he would hire 400 border guards to patrol Greece's land border with Turkey and 800 for the country's many islands. Welcome in Greece are only those we choose. Those who are not welcomed will be returned, he says. We will permanently shut the door on illegal human traffickers. And that's what this is about,
That's
human
huge.
trafficking. To those who want to enter, although they are not entitled to asylum. The member of the Liberal Conservative New Democracy Party also said he plans to shut down the island's overcrowded migrant camps, move some 20,000 migrants to the mainland, and replace the camps with holding centers. They will be ready to go next year. Civil society group has already complained that the centers may become prisons to which non-government organizations will have no access. Ooh. Human rights organizations have also criticized and these people are running in Greece and in all these countries. These NGOs are running free. Like, they can do whatever they want. Oh, I'm an NGO. And they go, we know people are trafficking, human trafficking. We know people are taking money on the side. We know people are trying to get them fake papers. There's a lot of crazy things, and it's, I'm a non-government organization. I have people's welfare, and you'd have to give me free reign. You have to give me free reign. No, that's not how this works. So, well, on Thursday, Greek Migration Minister George, you say that one. Sakos, I got that.
Sakos
Criticized Turkish President Erdogan for blackmailing Europe by threatening to open the gates to 3.6 million Middle Eastern migrants unless Turkey receives more money. Under the 2016 EU-Turkey deal, Turkey was to secure its borders in exchange for aid. However, Greece has said it has seen a 240% increase in landings since May.
That doesn't even seem real.
The Prime Minister's announcement comes after a new surge of illegal landings on the islands, with Greek media reporting that the country's Coast Guard has picked up 400 migrants in the last 24 hours in 10 different incidences in the Mediterranean alone. Wow. This is an invasion. Greece was the main gateway for migrants at the height of the migrant crisis in 2015-16, with almost 1,850,000. More than 1 million asylum seekers crossing the Mediterranean, landing in Greece. Could you just imagine just a million people?
No.
New Democracy, his party, won the July elections in a landslide, replacing the left-wing party. While there is the temptation to draw parallels with this and this tough display of rhetoric on migration to the right populist former Deputy Prime Minister Salvini, it is too early to predict if there will be follow-through, as there was in Italy. So Italy was able to reduce the numbers greatly. So we'll see what happens there. Sweden is on the bandwagon here a little bit, checking over 5,000 vehicles in new anti-gang border operation. So they're doing something. The Sweden authorities have stopped and inspected over 5,000 vehicles in 36 hours, at the ports of Stockholm, Gothenburg, and Trelleborg as part of a new operation to tackle the gang crime networks. The initiative, labeled Operation Trident, is set
I need a trident to go with my hat.
You do. That actually looks really good. But has already led to 22 individuals being excluded from the country. In addition to police, the Swedish Customs Authority and the Coast Guard are also participating in the operation. Matt Lofing, head of the police's National Operational Department, NOAA, commented on the operation saying, "We are very intensive in our border surveillance to prevent the people who travel to Sweden to commit the crimes from entering the country, so we soon see the more the boomdees. Lofting added that the operation would aid police who are expected to file a report to the government in February on how to improve the tactics to fight against the boomdees, the international gang networks, the sex trafficking, the drugs coming in from other countries, not native Swedes. We learned both about the people and the vehicles and what we call mode, that is, approaches that criminals use. So they're going to be profiling the criminals, so go to figure. Racist. The operation comes as Denmark recently enacted much more stricter border checks with Sweden due to the rising levels of the gang violence, especially explosions and the boomdees. One boomdee, which occurred at a Danish tax agency office in the capital of Copenhagen in August, was revealed to have been allegedly carried out by Swedish nationals living just across the border in the multicultural city of Malmö. The stricter Swedish border controls are also likely in response to the high number of foreign gangs involved in the vehicle thefts in the country. Figures from NAO released earlier in the month showed that 9 in 10 car thefts in Sweden were linked to foreign gangs. Sweden doesn't really have gangs. They did have gangs. They were called the Vikings. They got in their boats.
It'll be better on the way. There you go.
They got in their boats.
That's better.
They got in their boats. They got their swords. And they raped and they pillaged. They were bad gang members. Very, very bad. My ancestors. Okay. Have you driven a Fjord lately?
Boss Torres says that boomdees needs to be put on a t-shirt.
Stop the Swedish boomdees. Thank you. The report also added that border agents had a difficult time stopping stolen vehicles from leaving the country due to lack of legislation. So, Sweden is doing something. It could be worse. And now we go to France. Faces all-time record of nearly 140,000 asylum applications in 2019. France faces yet another record-breaking year for asylum applications after Senator Francois Noël Buffet claimed that there had been a 12% increase in asylum applications since 2018. The previous year saw 123,000 asylum applications, a record year that surpassed the previous high in 2017. According to Senator Buffet, the member of the center-right Republicans, the government does not forecast any growth in applications in 2020. He went on to add that 9.8% budget increase for immigration, a total of 2 billion euros, may not be enough, and added that asylum applications have almost quadrupled in 10 years. Now, on the one hand, you have the yellow vests who come out and say, "You're raising the gas tax. I can't live on the pension you give to me. wages are stagnant. You control how I do my cheese and my wine, and yet you're 2 billion euros. 2 billion, 2 billion. 2 people come here illegally. They're my $1 billion. They're your $1 billion euros. Okay. And so why? They say we have to open up our world. We have to open up our hands to help the migrants. And yet the yellow vests are protesting and saying, this is not enough. Macron, you do not care about me. Oh no, I can't put that on. You know what happened? I couldn't get it off last time.
Yes, you can.
No, I could not.
Yes,
It's very sticky. I'm moving on from France. So I think I need a mustache.
Somebody sent us an entire packet.
Just hold it up because they're very sticky and they don't come off very well. You know what happened last time I put that on? All these hairs came off.
Wait, I can't even get it open. But it would be really helpful for your French.
But you could just hold it up here like this.
No.
Oh, yes, you can.
No, you need to actually get it. Oh, that is supposed to be the sticky or something. The sticky's on
not
here.
The sticky.
Yes, it is. It's on here, the sticky.
Oh, maybe it's too old to be sticky. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's really sticky. I'm telling you, last time I put this on, it was... No, there's the sticky.
Where?
There it is. It's sticky.
Okay,
if I put this on... No. You don't understand. This is the exact same sticky that they use to... I put this on, and live on television, you will hear me scream. It's not going to happen. Why not? Put it on some part of your body where I don't have hair growing. Put it on the microphone.
No. That doesn't make it French.
You do it.
It's not that sticky.
There you go. Now take it off.
It would have been better. Look at you and doing this segment like this. It would have been so much better.
I would have been good. Now. I cannot look at you. With that on your face.
But it would have made this segment so much better. And I need a beret. And somebody has said we need some garlic. Okay, I'm ready. It's not that sticky.
Okay, last time I did it. Last time it was bad, but that doesn't look so bad.
That wasn't bad at all. There's no hairs on there. I didn't do a waxing. I mean, maybe my facial moisturizer's too, Yeah,
that was good. Okay.
But I still think you should have done it with the
I think you're right. Maybe if you put it that one to the side, it's not so sticky.
No, you can get a fresh one each time.
No, I'm telling you, last time I lost some hairs. All right, so France, the yellow vest, that's $2 billion.
I'm saving these out. I'm going to just save them here for next week.
We're going to the Dutch. The Dutch government does not have to repatriate children from Syria. The Netherlands has drawn the line in the sand too. The Dutch appeals court has overturned a lower court's order that the government must attempt to bring home children whose mothers travel to Syria to join Islamic extremist groups. Friday's decision upheld the government's appeal against the ruling. Reasons for the decision will be published next month. Justice Minister Ferd Grapperhaus has welcomed the decision as supporting the government's policy of not repatriating women and children from Syria if they went there to join the Islamic State group. Grapperhaus says these women made the choice, with or without children, to travel to ISIS territory and join a terrorist organization. The cabinet will not actively bring them back to our region. Lawyers representing 23 women and their 56 children sought an injunction earlier this month, forcing the government to repatriate them. And this is so interesting to us here at Resistance Chicks, when we're thinking about what's happening over in Europe. How many foreign people live in Europe and then demand that when they go and do something completely illegal,
right,
and join a terrorist organization, that they try to use Western ideals of the court system to get themselves back in, and that there's not a real good system for you went over and you joined ISIS. How do you come back? You would need to go to jail, right?
Right. And
how long do you go to jail? And if there's no documentation of your exact crimes, because how do you come back? It's a really confusing situation. And Trump's like, you have to take these people back in. Like, well, we don't want to take these people back in. And I don't know the answer, honestly, because they need to go. If they have 2 passports, they need to go back to their first country of origin, because they lost their right to go to the next country.
Right.
So I guess that's probably a good thing. This was interesting. I think I'm going to end on this. Was funny to me. Former Prime Minister of Iceland, melting glaciers are nothing to panic about. Now, if anybody has room to speak, I would think that it would be because the former Prime Minister of Iceland. Iceland has held like funerals for like melting glaciers and things like that. So, despite the stories delivered by teary-eyed reporters about the tragedy of melting glaciers, the fact is that some glaciers melt while others grow. And it has been this way for all of history, says David Gunnlaugsson, who served as Iceland's prime minister from 2013 to 2016. Our climate changes, but humans adapt. Instead of scaremongering, we should approach the situation on a specific and scientific and rational basis. While distancing himself from the label of climate change denier, Gunnlaugsson insists that it is nonsense to suggest that humans need to sacrifice the achievements of modern civilization if we are to save the planet. Iceland offers unique insight into the relationship between man and nature, showing that environmental change is natural and nothing to be afraid of, he writes. Take Iceland's melting glaciers. Troubling as a calving glacier might seem, such a phenomenon is by no means out of the ordinary. In fact, this process defines a glacier. They move. Glaciers shed ice at their edges as ice builds up closer to the center. It is a spectacle we have witnessed in Iceland since the first settlers arrived in the 9th century. Even the widely reported death of the OK Glacier was exaggerated, media-driven spectacle, he said. He contends it was a relatively small mountaintop glacier that had been receding for decades. In 1901, it measured 38 square kilometers. In 1978, it measured just 3. So it dropped 30 kilometers in 70 years, from 1901 to 1978. So the glacier that had its last rites read in August had, in fact, more or less disappeared half a century ago. And what is the real problem with glaciers receding? Mightn't this be a good thing? When the glaciers were expanding, laying waste to what had previously been green meadows and farmlands, and that's something we never talk about. Green meadows and farmlands were taken over by these glaciers. So we had a cold age, and people who lost their homes would hardly have been grief-stricken by the thought that one day the trend might be reversed.
Sure.
And I think that's what we were talking about. He proposed in noting that when Iceland was first discovered, it was completely covered in forests. Iceland was Greenland. Okay. All in all, people have a remarkable ability to adapt to environmental alteration, he notes, which should keep us from freaking out over such changes. We Icelanders have witnessed severe changes to our natural environment. Iceland is a country of remarkable natural alteration, and we've had to adapt to that fact. We realize that humans need to respect natural forces, but history has also shown us the power of human ingenuity and our ability to survive. We must adapt to the ever-changing forces of nature and base our societies on essential common sense rather than superstitions or fear. Iceland's melting glacier is simply part of an endless sequence of natural events that have shaped our country's history. We must respect nature and seek to preserve our environment, but it is vital not to overreact or fall for scare stories. Whatever some might say, we shouldn't panic about Iceland melting. And I think that I'm going to kind of end on that. There's a lot of other stories I could bring, but I bring it back to some intellectual thoughts and back to homesteading, in my opinion, that throughout history, we've seen ebbs and flow. I mean, when you look at the Grand Canyon being created through major ice melt. Well, what happened to the world? The coasts, are we missing a bunch of coastland and a bunch of people die? You know, the problem is a lot of people live on the coasts. So, but we're not looking at the melting of ice that's going to drown Obama's new
But it's not even drowning that they're talking about. When they talk about global warming and the melting icebergs, I mean, they really... They're going to say that it's going to get too hot for anything to survive, which is absolutely absurd. It's so ridiculous. So I'm sorry if land masses and where people can live shifts, but that doesn't actually equal we're all going to die in 12 years.
And so what it does is it gets us off of what's really happening. This is the satanic push of the climate change.
Yeah.
Because I hear it from Hollywood all the time. There's nothing I could do. There's nothing I could do. It's carbon emission based, and that the technology has not yet been invented. But actually, we know that we are damaging the planet. And as this prime minister said, we do need to take care of the environment. We do need to talk. We do need to hear nature tell us things. Okay.
Yeah.
And nature, when we all look at a piece of trash on the ground and plastics, and we see, you know, the sea life coming on shore with, you know, pop bottle things around their necks, and whales filled with plastic in their stomachs, and whole rivers,
oil spills,
and seals covered in oil.
The way that we're stripping land from nutrients by using fertilizers, and
so you have an AOC, or you have a Jeremy Corbyn, or you have these climate change activists who say the government. If the government needs to do anything, they need to open up vast swaths of land so that people can live off of the land.
Yeah.
And we need to have our government, whether actively or passively, or in speeches, or in especially in the tax codes and things like that, to encourage people to consume less. But as long as we are a consumer-driven society, and you're looking at the numbers of economic growth to show you, and she said that, even Greta Thunberg said, in economic growth, perpetual economic growth, like she's not. The devil always has a word of truth, but her answer and their answers are, well, we need more solar. We need the government to come in and take over businesses, and it's not that we need to curtail business, but somehow we need to take money from the business, and nobody really knows what's in the Green New Deal, but we know that it's a whole economic like takeover. Like Jeremy Corbyn says, well, we just want to tax corporations more. We want to take over broadband systems. We're just going to take over, like just what communists always do. They see the kings and queens in the upper class. They see what they have, and communists want to just go take it. Well, the problem is at the end, there's nothing left to take, and then people start to suffer. And as we've seen through the Bolshevik Revolution, people get poor, and their standard of living is lower than under the empires, or the Chinese empires, the French ruling class, or whatever. So we encourage you guys here at Resistance Chicks to help the environment, to help heal the environment, if there's something that you can make instead of buy, or buy locally, or buy from somebody who's doing something sustainable. For an example, our Amish farmers do not strip the land. They have built up the soil. So the land is happy to have our Amish friends on the land, because the land is better today than when they got to it.
Exactly.
And so you should be asking, is what I'm doing to the environment, am I leaving it in a better place? And it's been large companies thinking, well, and a lot of people, well, we're just going to strip it dry. We're just going to strip it dry. But you can actually, the planet is regenerative. We should be good stewards.
Just like our bodies. If we cut our bodies, we can heal it. If we have toxins in our bodies can heal with the right. So the planet can heal if we give it the opportunity. So we have to sign off. I'm expecting a phone call from a client at 3:30. Thank you guys for being here. I do need, so calving, it actually is a thing. I looked it up with these icebergs. It's not just a cow having a calf. It's when a piece of an iceberg falls off into the ocean. So it's literally just called calving, like you would calve a calf. So there is that. Happy birthday to Eric Buskey. His sister Marlene tells me that his birthday is tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Eric.
I remembered it was close to mine, but I got this thing's really bugging me. Happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow and celebrate with cake and ice cream and family. And we at Resistance Chicks,
so we're gonna
love
wait
you.
On the box again.
Yeah, only because I had told this lady I thought 3:30 would be plenty of time. I said, you can call me anytime after 3:30. And then I thought to myself, okay, that's actually only because we run 20 minutes for our show late. That only gives us, 10 minutes extra. So. Oops. And we were already
Somebody
extra,
hit the oops button.
No, I had everything ready. I had my knife ready. We were going to do our mail call. So we'll have to do that. I'm so sorry. We're keep pushing that back. So if you've sent us a package, it will get opened later. So,
good night and God bless. Stefan, where are you at nighttime?
Well, in the UK right now, it's 8:30.
I know. I'm just wondering where they're at. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. I thought they were called growlers. We love you guys. thank you for being here.
Kelly PB Fam's son, Steven, bagged a bear.
I saw that.
That's impressive.
I saw that.
Very impressive.
Mom
Not
talks.
many men can say that.
Ben becomes stupefied. It's natural. It's not natural to be inside all day. We have a nasty squirrel that comes visit now and then. That's so funny, Jack Russell. I'm reading your comments. If ice melts in a cup, it won't overflow.
Good point, Jose.
So you're canning the bear up.
Oh,
There you go.
hey, you guys are really wilderness people.
All right.
Kudos
Venice
to
also
you.
flooded in the 19th century.
Britbot says, Michelle, Iceland had a cremation of a glacier.
Oh my goodness. So, all right, guys.
We have a P.O. Box 107, Milford, Ohio 45150. If you send us your letters, we will happily read them on air unless otherwise noted. We go live every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm sure Patriot Galler will have a blog this week at some point, so you guys can look forward to that. Thank you to everybody that's in the chat. Thank you, Leah, for a great show. And fire in
Sending us
church.
your links and everything.
Yeah, thank you guys. Our show would not be what it is without you. So,
Britt Boz sent me some beautiful pictures. I meant to.
Cheshire in England, says Stefan.
Oh, Cheshire.
In England. See, you're with us, right? With the England thing.
He said England.
Right?
It's so funny. Britt Boz sent me some pictures of Essex, and I should show you guys. It's it's really pretty.
Yeah. Okay, have a wonderful evening or day or afternoon. It's sunshine here. Wherever you're at, have a blessed Sunday.
We love you. God loves you. And God bless the world and Hong Kong and Europe.
And happy Thanksgiving to everybody
Bitchute.
this week here in the United States that's watching. Thursday's Thanksgiving. So
thanks for joining us. That we just love you guys.
We do.
It's fun.
Bye, guys.
Let's go.